Hi, my name is Jim Sackman. I'm a focal point business coach, and this is another of the CIO Success Series. Now, in the past, you've heard a different voice, primarily on this program, that of Peter Irish, and part of the reason is the change in this program. It's being converted from a very specific series that Peter's been presenting to an ongoing series, and we're going to cover that change, the trends that we're going to follow, and how this is going to work going forward. So, I want to remind you of some of the people you're going to meet on this journey with us. And the first is Vivek Agarwal. And Vivek's a 25 plus year executive out of high tech, primarily out of the semiconductor industry. He's got a background in marketing and management, and his really been a focus on people and career coaching. The voice you've most recently heard on a primary basis is that of Peter Irish. He has a broad industry background, primarily sales, marketing, efficiency, and product launches in both Europe and North America. And I'm Jim Sackman. My background comes out of communications and communications equipment. I also have a background in SaaS and SaaS operations and have been around the industry for about 30 years. So between the three of us, we think we present quite a profile of people that can help talk to CIOs about their challenges going forward. And one thing to note is we're all focal point business coaches here in Northern California, and we can build and share information with each other and help each other to help CIOs. So I want to look a little bit at the things that we've already done that Peter's introduced to you. There's been an introduction, some work on functional performance cost management, leadership and influencing, and finally business strategy. Now, one thing of note about all of this is that Peter has used some ongoing studies, relatively recent studies, about CIOs and has noted where they've come from. We'll continue to use these studies, plus introduce other and more augmented material as time goes on. But really, the question is, where do we go from here? What's our view of the future? And I want to present that in a very simple way, and that is we need to expand and explore on the themes we've already developed. And what does that mean? There's going to be two pieces, the first of which is people-oriented. And there's two groups of people that we want to address, and that is the CIOs themselves and the teams that work for CIOs. So issues that relate to the people are falling into this category. And we're going to talk about more detail on that on the next slide. And the second group is strategy oriented. These are business and technology issues related to the IT function as it exists in a business. So I hope that outlines the two paths that we're going to follow at the same time as we create a great way for you to go forward. So let's start talking about people-oriented issues. What kind of things fall in here? Well, let's talk about the first one, CIO career development. Now, a lot of CIOs peak in their organization as a CIO because they don't get the broad executive exposure that some other positions do. So we want to talk about that, how they work within the organization, some challenges and some advantages that they have within organizations and how they can develop it. IT team development. So if you're a CIO and you've got a number of people working for you, most people think they're very strange and don't know how to manage and organize and lead them. And we're going to talk about that. I don't personally think they're very strange. I've worked with engineers and product development people and IT people for my entire career and think there are a couple nuances to it. But in general, leading teams are leading teams. IT team hiring. Right now, in particular, this is a very tough challenge. IT people are in high demand, and how do you build and differentiate an offering that can help bring those people on board and keep them engaged, which is the final point, retention. Because one of the issues we know that's a primary issue for many IT organizations is retaining talent that they've already hired. It's a very expensive proposition to bring on new people. So you'd like to grow and retain the people you have, especially the ones that are doing valuable work for you. Now let's talk about what's strategy oriented. And there's a primary function here, and then there's going to be some follow-on functions from that. And the primary function is business strategy. One of the things that we've learned from our talks with CIOs is that they don't often feel connected to the business and are unable to influence the rest of the business along IT strategy lines. So we want to address that as our primary focus here in this section, and we'll talk about ways to go about that, ways to approach it within a business, and how to build an IT function that really delivers to the business's bottom line. Part of that will be budgeting and planning. And I said earlier, I come out of the SaaS world, which is a lot of IT functionality, but I used to have significant disagreements with our IT function about how we built and did things versus how they built and did things. And I want to explore that kind of issue in this kind of a role. Project management. In many small firms in particular, there are a lot of initiatives which could have project management associated with them. IT departments and functions tend to have significant project management capabilities. They tend to run them. They tend to understand how projects work, where many parts of many organizations do not. So is there a way of using project management as a way to leverage influence with other organizations? And finally, technology business trends. CIOs, because of their viewpoint in the world, often get connected to things that are going on generally throughout the world, and potentially can become a focused lens for the company as it views its external environment, and in particular, how technology and technology business is changing the world. So really, this is going to be a long story with lots of chapters, and we want to explore many different ways that IT and the CIO can help develop and change the company and change the world as part of that. So we look forward to writing this journey with you, and we're going to have some webinars that we're going to talk about in the very near future, and we're going to have a way to register for those on our website at norcalbusinesscoaching.com. And for Peter and Vivek, this is Jim Sackman. You have a great day.